Secretary Jen Psaki was asked a very simple question. Is there a crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border in today's second, come on, there it is, Psaki Dodge.
Look, I don't think we need to sit here and put new labels on what we have already conveyed is challenging. What we have conveyed is a top priority for the president, what our policy teams are working on every single day. There was a trip to the border this weekend. They are working over the course of every day since then on putting in place policies that can help address what we're seeing and help ensure that we are keeping these kids safe and moving them as quickly as possible from Border Patrol facilities to shelters where they can have access to educational resources, health resources, mental health resources, legal aid, et cetera.
Oh, my goodness. All right, I want to welcome back in our panel. We start with our White House correspondent, Emerald Robinson. Executive Director of USA Strong, Aaron Elmore, is here. Project 21 Advisory Board member Christopher Arps joining us, and political analyst Mark Halperin is here as well. You know what? Just for fun, I'm going to start with another Psaki Dodge. This one is actually called a Psaki Dog. Take a listen to this.
Champion Major, the President and First Lady's dogs, members of the family, are still getting acclimated and accustomed to their new surroundings and new people. And on Monday, the First Family's younger dog, Major, was surprised by an unfamiliar person and reacted in a way that resulted in a minor injury to the individual, which was handled by the White House Medical Unit with no further treatment needed.
The answer, Emerald, you are there at the White House every single day. That answer it's almost like it's like a caricature of what how a politician would answer a question. If this happened, honestly, even in December when Trump was still in office, he didn't have a dog. But if it did happen, it would just be like, yeah, you know, Archie nipped somebody or whatever. It wouldn't be. This has been made a much bigger deal than it really is.
I mean, and actually, the reporter, there was a good friend of mine who asked yesterday if the guarantee Major would euthanize, you know, sort of Psaki guard. Just said no, it's going to be euthanized. And it sounds like he's going to actually be coming back to the White House now. And I talked about this. Congresswoman put out a clip about the dog and the immigration issue both. So talking about both of your Psaki Dodges, she said that clearly Joe Biden can deport his dog, but not criminal illegal immigrants.
Mark, this issue dominating some of the headlines, at least some of the headlines yesterday. Your thoughts on the dog situation at 1600 Pennsylvania? The dogs aren't there right now. They were taken back to Delaware, and then they're going to return, though, apparently, Champ and Major.
It's a double Psaki Dodge hump day. What a great Wednesday we are having. The fact that we are spending time actually talking about these dogs is crazy, and not the fact that our president is about 48 days now without a press conference. This is what she should be focusing on. If I were Jen Psaki, I would talk about dogs all day long because she knows that her boss isn't capable of holding a press conference. So you know what? Jen Psaki's playing one of those little shell games, a bit of deflection away from the real issue.
Yeah,
so go ahead, Jen Psaki. Let me play your bad self and keep on dodging.
Joe Biden was at a hardware store in the D.C. Metro yesterday. They have to get him out there for the photo op, if at least for that. There were members of the press with him. I want you to just focus on the president here. He's at a hardware store. Somebody asked him a very simple question about the situation on the southern border, and he just looks completely incapable of answering the question. But I'll let you be the judge. Take a look.
Is there a crisis at the border, sir?
And then if I could just...
All right, so to Aaron Elmore's point right there, Chris, we have not gone this long, 49 days, without a press conference where the president steps into the briefing room, says something, and then takes questions from the press in 100 years. 15 presidents ago. Calvin Coolidge waited this long a century ago. It's been that long, and this is 2021. Does it surprise you that the president has not taken questions from the press to this point?
It has surprised me, and I think we all know the reason why from yesterday. The president is suffering from obvious mental decline. They hid him away during the campaign. They're hiding him away now. We don't know when a State of the Union address is going to occur. This is just a very dangerous situation. And as I said earlier in the show, what must our enemies think of seeing the president looking like that? It makes us very vulnerable. And I think this becomes a national security issue, his health, his mental health.
Well, it's a very good point. And Mark, there is precedent for something like this. If you want to go way back, FDR was in a wheelchair for his entire time in office for the most part. And I think the majority of Americans were not aware of that. In the 60s, JFK used crutches all the time. He had Addison's disease. The American public was not aware of that. Do you think the press is covering for the president?
Well, I should point out that at this point in his presidency, Coolidge had done 2 Reddit Ask Me Anythings. So he at least had made himself available in that way. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. The Democrats, the media, as well as people who are critics of Joe Biden should wonder why he's not talking more, should look at that video and ask the questions, which is he ready to do this job? Is he able to do this job every day? It's a perfectly legitimate question. It would be for any president Joe Biden's age, and particularly after the kind of moments we've seen repeatedly over the course of his time as a candidate and now as president. It doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be an attack. The question should be asked. And if he holds a press conference and does well, it doesn't put it to rest, but it certainly would reassure, I think, some people.
Emerald, if Donald Trump were in the Oval Office, sitting behind the Resolute desk, and this much criticism were being thrown his way while he was watching Newsmax, you know what he would do? He would get up, walk into the briefing room that same day, and take questions from the media. And here we are. Tomorrow's 50 days, halfway to that 100 days, the first 100 days of the Biden administration. And we've yet to hear from the guy. We got a $2 trillion COVID relief bill. They're going to vote on it probably today, and he's not out there selling it to the American people. There is a national security crisis at the southern border. A simple question, Emerald, is lobbed his way yesterday, and he doesn't know where to go with it.
Well, I think first Donald Trump would have tweeted about it. Then he might would have called in Newsmax. And then there would have been a big press conference in the Rose Garden today because it's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
That's how it would have probably went down.
You make a good point.
But I do think Mark had an excellent point on there needs to be the question asked about his fitness for office. That's something that was asked often during the Trump years. Is the president fit for office? What is his health? They even got down to the fact that he drinks so many Diet Cokes a day. Remember, they got obsessed with that for a little while. And does that pose a risk to him as the leader of the free world?
Right.
That question about Joe Biden and his mental capacity, has he been evaluated? Is he undergoing any kind of treatment for, dementia or any other mental incapacities? And what does he do during the day? We don't have a very good detailed schedule for Joe Biden, and we don't hear from him very often. And you see how short those times are that we do see him. Like that trip to the small business yesterday was very short. The day before that trip to see vaccines being administered at the VA was very short.
Yeah, that's a good point. Chris, I'll give you the final thought, then we got to wrap it up.
Well, I'm very nervous about what we're seeing with Joe Biden. He doesn't seem to be in cognitive control. I think it sends the wrong message to our enemies.
That's a really good point. Panel, enjoyed it as always. Mark Halperin, Christopher Arps, Aaron Elmore, good to see you as always, and Emerald, always good to see you. Look forward to talking tomorrow.